This is the Stock Day Podcast, sponsored by Ion Digital, providing secure, compliant ecosystems you can trust. That's Ion Digital. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews. Public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. Here's your host, Kevin Davis.
On today's show, we're bringing back a returning guest. Name of the company is Pro-Dex Inc. They trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol PDEX. With us today is the company's CEO, Mr. Rick Van Kirk. Rick, welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. I'll tell you what, for my new listeners, give us an updated about statement. We haven't talked to you since February. What are you guys doing over there at Pro-Dex?
Well, we're a medical device manufacturer. We're in Orange County, California. Been around 40 plus years. The last 20 or so, again, focused on medical devices. We do a combination of contract manufacturing and develop and ship our own products with some of our own technology. And we tend to try to support a customer in any way they need, manufacturing, engineering services, just about anything they'd want. We are very happy to help them with.
Excellent. And, I know you recently announced your third quarter results. I just want to get right into it. What do you think about those? How did those go for you?
Oh, I'm very pleased. We had a record quarter, and we're on track for year-over-year growth again. It'll be a record year for us. Not every quarter is going to be a record. We go a little bit up and down, but the year-over-year trend has been strong. Things are starting to really shape up the way we planned. I've been on the show a few times and have made no secret that we've got some aggressive growth plans. And, right now we got some good customers and programs. We're adding on some capacity. We got some products in development and we're going to start rolling out this year. So we really hope to build on these really good results.
I'm really happy to hear that. I know in our previous podcast episodes with you, you were talking about supply chain issues. Are you guys making any progress on that?
Yeah, we struggle with the same thing probably everyone else in the world does, and we still have challenges. They're not as bad as a year and a half ago. Some of the lead times are not as crazy long, but they're still long. The issues that remain, the prices or costs to us that went up have not come down. In fact, they, in some cases, still go up a little bit. So, to combat that on our end, we're trying to do a couple things. One thing, some long-term, agreements or relationships with suppliers to try to mitigate that. But we've actually invested a lot in our sustaining engineering capability here, which really helps us focus on improving our processes, the continuous improvement thing and leaning things out to try to bring our internal costs down to kind of combat that outside supplier impact we're feeling. So
sure,
we're doing some things to work with it. But again, I think we're in the same boat as a lot of people, and we're all just working through the same challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, kind of an interesting time in the world in general, and for businesses, it's really crazy. Let's shift gears. Give me a status on that new building that you also mentioned in previous podcasts.
Yeah, great news. We're going to finish our move next week. We're really excited about that. We've been doing some work in the new building, but the bulk of it's coming over next week. We're really ready to start using that and get rolling. It's going to double, maybe even more than double our capacity. And so some of the development products I mentioned earlier and some other things, irons in the fire, as they say, we're real excited about that and the capabilities that we're adding there and just kind of what it means for us moving forward.
Yeah, Rick, one thing I want to ask you is, I know you don't have a way to really predict this, quote unquote, crystal ball, etc., and I don't want to blindside you, but what are you thinking for the rest of 2023? We're about halfway through 2023. And what are your goals? What can you tell me that Pro-Dex is looking at for the rest of this year?
Well, we want to continue our growth. We want to continue getting better at executing what we do. We tend to let our results do a lot of the talking for us, so we do need to focus on that. The interesting thing for us is our fiscal year ends in June, so we got a chance to kind of measure the year-over-year record in just a few weeks, and like I said, we're kind of excited about that. And then as far as the rest of the calendar year, yeah, we want to roll into the next year strong with a new building and maybe some new projects in production. And, you know, I hesitate to, you know, quantify things or give out numbers, but like I said earlier,
right.
We've made no secret they want to continue to grow this thing, and all signs are pointing that way still.
Folks, you're listening to Rick Van Kirk. He is the CEO of Pro-Dex Inc. They trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol PDEX. I'll tell you what, Rick, we're going to definitely want to have you back in the next 30 to 45 days to go over some of the items that we find from the fiscal year reports. But before we do, give my listeners a takeaway from today. What do you want folks to take away from this interview? Well,
I always like to take this opportunity to thank people for their interest in Pro-Dex and or their support of Pro-Dex. We really do appreciate that. And I guess at the risk of repeating myself, you know, the pace maybe isn't always as quickly or as quick as we'd like it to be, but we are moving forward. We're moving in the direction that we set out and I've been talking about for years. You know, when we started doing this, we were $11 million business. Last year, we finished at 42, and we expect that to continue, and hope people kind of hop on for the ride.
Rick, thank you so much. Been an absolute pleasure. Folks, check them out. They're on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol PDEX. Also, you can point your web browser at the website pro-dex.com. That's Pro-Dex with a hyphen in the middle, folks. Really appreciate it, Rick. Let's talk soon.
Well, I look forward to it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by La Jolla Media, LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are for educational and research purposes. Stock Day encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional.